Hey everybody, hey. I'm gonna wait for y'all to get on. Welcome. I am excited tonight. We are starting our first week of our Bible study for discerning the voice of God, and I am grateful that you all are on the line. I'm gonna try to wait a few minutes and see if you all start to log in. How's everybody doing this Sunday? Hey Nancy, I see you. Hey sis, how are you? I'm gonna give people a few minutes to log in. I want to make sure, I'm just checking my phone, make sure I got the time because I want to be a good steward of your time. But we are logged in. Hey Raina, what's up sis? How are you? All right, we're gonna start because I want people to know that we start on time here. So I want to, because we're gonna be together for an hour. I just want to welcome you all again to the Beauty for Ashes Ministries Growth Group. I am Kylie Williams. I'm the vessel for this ministry, the founder for this ministry. And this is one of the charges that God gave me when He allowed me to launch Beauty for Ashes, is to do Bible studies. And so He laid on my heart this year for us to do Discerning the Voice of God by Priscilla Shirer. I absolutely love Pastor Shirer. She is an awesome woman of God. I love her books and her studies. They're very easy to understand and very practical. And so I hope you all are having a good time. I want to make sure that you all are really taking the time out to have a devotion. This week really kicked my butt, honestly, truthfully. Um, hey, Pearlie. And so I just want you all to know that if it kicked your butt, it kicked mine too. A lot of conviction, just getting started, trying to make sure I get a regimen and a temperament and how to get my flow. So if you had some of those ouch moments reading week one, you were not alone. Okay. So I just want to say that you're not alone. Let's go. We're going to go ahead and get started. I want to pray first, and then we're going to jump right in. This Bible study that's going to be on every Sunday at 7 o'clock is for about an hour. So I'm going to try to each day touch on a little bit of each day, but it really is up to you to have that devotion time with God, to walk through all of the exercises and all the things that she has you read through in order to really get the gist of the Bible study. So this is just a sort of an hour-long community, so we can sort of talk back and forth. I'll be asking some questions throughout the study. Or time together just for you to say, hey, this was me. But this is our love community. So this is where we're transparent and we're open. If you know me and you know me well enough, I'm transparent about my walk with God. And so, sometimes I get it right and sometimes I get it wrong. But this is what we're here to do, is to get it right together and for us to talk to each other like, hey, sis, or brother, whoever's joining us with us tonight, just walk together. Amen. So let's pray briefly and then we're going to get started. All right. God, thank you so much for this opportunity for us to come together and understand more of your word. I thank you, God, for this moment in time that you carved out even before time that these, your children and I will get together to study your word. I thank you for the life of Priscilla Shirer, God, that you have placed all of these Bible studies and good teachings in her heart and her life. So, Lord, as we walk through this study, discerning the voice of God. Teach us, oh Lord, to hear you more clearly and be able, Father, to move out everything that's unlike you so that we can filter only you through our lives. Holy Spirit, have your way in this time. Allow us to hear from you, oh God, in a new way. At the end of these studies, that we know that we can hear our Lord and we can hear him clearly. In your Son Jesus' name I pray. Amen. All right, people. Hey, Miranda, Redna Thorpe. I'm seeing names pop in, so I can see your comments on the side. If you have questions, we're going to hit day one. So if you have questions and you say, hey, this is I got a question about this particular thing. If I don't cover it, just type in the comments so I can see it, and so that way I can try to get to it and answer it for you. I'm going, like I said, we are hours. So I want to make sure I'm a good steward of your time. So if you have your book, let's look at, we're in week one, day one. All right. And so day one is on page 8. If you are new to the study, if you're in our, of course, you're in our group, in the announcement section, I posted week 1. So you have day 1 through 5. So what we're going to cover tonight. So if you don't have your book just yet, you can go to the announcement section and print those off, and then you can work with us and walk with us tonight. All right. So let's look at page 8. The first thing that jumped off to me was looking at the first quote by Priscilla Shirer. Now this quote says, his leading is only for those who are already committed to do as he may choose. To such it may be said, God is able to speak loud enough to make a willing soul hear. When I first looked at that, family, I was like, am I a willing soul? You have to ask yourself that. Am I a willing soul? We think we are. We want to say that we are. But if God asks me to do something that maybe my logical mind doesn't quite comprehend, how willing am I to really do what God says? And if he can't speak loud enough for me to hear him, where's my disobedience came from? We're looking through week 1. Pastor Shirer talked a lot about obedience. And if you're like me, I got whipped up and down the street this week on understanding, okay, my obedience needs to get a little bit better. And so it is okay. This is what this study is about. It's like, okay, Lord, iron sharpens iron. So right now, Pastor Shirer is sharpening our iron. So looking at page 8, how have you pushed against some submission? Now this is the story she has in there about her family and the Cowboys. So if you read page 8, she's talking about a gentleman called Sabah. That's his name. He was a player with the Dallas Cowboys. Now, football players, they are, aggressive by nature, and so this particular player, in the study, she said, he wanted to do what he wanted to do. He just knew that he knew better than the coach on how to lead the team. How many of you thought you knew better than God, and you decided to do something he didn't actually do? I wish there were little hands you could raise and just say, it's me. How many times that God has asked you to do something, and you're like, no, God, I don't know. I want to date him, or I want to date her, or I want this job, or I want this house. And we realized that God was sort of shifting us to a place where he wanted us over here. But we decided to go over there. Is that correct? So when you're looking at this study and looking at Cyber, I sort of laughed at myself because he's a player on the team. Now the coach is the leader, correct? God is our leader. We are on his team. But how many times have we bucked the system because we wanted to do something different? And he says here on page 8, down towards the bottom, you have your book, it says, Cyber admitted as a player, he often bristled against submission to his coach's leadership. Despite his respect for Landry's genius in football strategy, Starbuck wanted the freedom to call his own plays on the field, to lead the team with his own approach. He thought he knew how best to run the Cowboys offense his way. How many of us have been in that spot? Where although we have bosses, we have people that are over us, that we think we can do it better. How many situations have we been with God where we think we knew it better than him? And what blessed me with this particular story that Pastor Shirer has is that she says here on page 9, he said, once I learned to obey, it was harmony, fulfillment, and victory. Once we learn to allow God to be the complete leader of our lives, that's when we can start to walk in more harmony and victory. Now, please understand, I do compare and contrast. That's not saying that life is going to be completely blissful. Okay, so we're going to have challenges in our lives, but the goal is when we're pushed up against that wall and adversity is coming, This is where we have to start to, this is where we got to tune in a little bit deeper, right? So this is when I need to be able to hear God and say, hey, I need to know what the Lord wants me to do. Not what I want to do, but what the Lord wants me to do. And it's in the story where Pastor Sean is talking about Sidon, he had to get to the point where even though he respected the knowledge of his coach, he wanted to do what he wanted to do, but he had to get to a point of submission. And sometimes in the faith, submission can almost be like a cuss word, especially to us women. You want me to do what? But submission isn't about being under a dictatorship. It's that respect of having that mutual understanding that we're going to walk this journey together. And so in order for us to walk together, we have to agree, right? And so with him understanding, you know what? My coach has more knowledge than I have in this situation. Let me allow him to lead me. We have to allow God to lead us. Did anybody else have any challenges or anything come to mind when you read that story about Starbucks and his unwillingness to submit? So if you have comments and questions, please, I want it to be interactive. Hey, Iris, I see you said you can use your comments and say, yeah, go on page 8, Iris, and we just joined us on page 8, and David, week 1, page 8. And so I want you all to talk with me, all right? So looking at this particular area of obedience, where have you found yourself in your obedience scale? Where are you right now? Where are you standing with God in your level of obedience? What has God told you to do that you haven't done? I want us to continue to face our issue of our challenges. None of us are, well, maybe somebody could be 100% obedient. I'm not. If anybody, I'm like, the Lord has to run me over with a Mack truck. Sometimes God will tell me this, and I'm like, what are you talking about, Jesus? I don't want to do that. Or what do you want me to go over there for? I'm a million questions. So, this particular study was like, you have to be able to just sit back and let God do what he wants to do. Let's jump over to page 10. Now, page 10, we are at the top. So we're looking at some scripture. Let's look at John 7:17. So you're on page 10, you can see John 7:17. And it says, this is Jesus talking here. If anyone wants to do his will, he will know whether the teaching is from God or whether I am speaking on my own. How can you know the word of God, family, if you're not reading the word of God? What the Lord is telling us here, you will hear my voice and know if this is correct if you're spending time with me. You can't not know the word of God if you're spending time with me. So even if you're sitting in church or you're having a conversation with one of your friends that's a Christian conversation or you're talking about scripture, you can there's little radars will go up when you hear like, oh, that's not quite how the scripture goes. And so being that we are walking through this study and trying to hear God, you can be put in a situation or position where you have to defend God. Okay? So looking at this scripture, he says, if anyone wants to do his will, he will know whether the teaching is from God or whether I'm speaking on my own. So you need to know whether or not the person who's talking to you is really quoting and speaking from the Lord, or they're making up stuff by themselves. There's a lot of false teachers and false prophets. For us learning to tune our ear with this study is being able to hold into what they're saying to us. Is this really from God? Is this really scripture? Is God really saying this? Where did this come from? But that sort of beacon of a heartbeat in your spirit comes from you spending more time with the Lord and with His Word, because then He can bring back to your remembrance, something's not right about what they just said. But I can't defend or deny something I don't know. And so the Lord is telling us, hey, I need you to spend more time and know the word for yourself. Look at John 14:21. And it says, Jesus again said, the one who has my commands and keeps them is the one who loves me. And the one who loves me will be loved by my Father. I also will love him and will reveal myself to him. We all love the Lord, and God will reveal himself to us. But we have to be able to hear him to know his will. He knows ours. And so I want to make sure I make that perfectly clear. We may not always be able to completely understand the Lord on our own, but trust and believe the Lord knows your voice. When you cry out to him, he knows your voice. When you're praying to him, he knows your voice. So it's not that he doesn't know you, it's us aligning ourselves and our ears to hear him. Let's jump level. This is a good study, a good question. And it says here on page 11, now if you did your work looking on page 11, she has some things, bullet points here, and it says, I want you to know, I'm well aware how difficult surrender can often be. And so in this area, you were supposed to circle. So you get ready, I want to see you got quick, before I tell you what I circle. But you're supposed to look in this area on page 11. You were supposed to pick out some things that your arch nemesis to obedience, the challenges you have to support surrendering to God. So, Pearlie, Radina, Miranda, Raina, Nancy, I see all y'all. What did you pick? What are some of the things? Yes, you have to be open and hearing. Thank you, Nancy. What are some of the things that you picked on page 11 that you picked out of that bulleted point that's been your challenge with surrendering to God? What did y'all put? I'm waiting to see what y'all put. You can type it in and I'll wait a few seconds. But I want to know some of the things that you have been dealing with in surrendering completely to God. And one of those things that one needs to be on your prayer list of saying, Lord, I need you to help me with this area. These are some of the challenges that I'm having surrendering to you. So what do you have down there? Anybody type in? Hey Stacy, how are you, sis? If you have your book or your papers, we're on page 11. We're looking at page 11, and we are on looking. Everybody's supposed to be typing in some of the challenges they've had with surrendering to God. What are some of the challenges? Nancy, I see you. Stubbornness and procrastination. Reign of procrastination. You my sister because I got procrastination too. Y'all not by yourself. I have procrastination too. Anybody else? Lord, we all procrastination. That's one of mine. Okay, look, thank you for making me feel loved and not out here by myself. Yes. Anybody else? Got stubbornness and procrastination. Those are the two that I see. Anybody else? What else have you all had down there? One of mine was truthfully feeling unworthy to be used by God. Feeling unworthy to be used by God. That's one of the ones that I circled. And during this study, I want you all to be transparent with God and yourself. If no one sees your book, no, this is between you and God. But the more that you open up and you let God in, He can pull out all the stuff that we're dealing with and then fill us with what we need. So be honest with Him. The other thing I had, other than procrastination with the rest of my sisters, was concern that I might be hearing Him wrong. Did anybody have that one? Did anybody circle concern that I might be hearing Him wrong? This is on page 11. Anybody have that? Because sometimes, especially when you're going through a season of this that's challenging, you can't feel like, Lord, am I really hearing you correctly? I don't know if I heard you right. And sometimes I go through that. I'm like, when you get sort of like stuck, right? You're like, do I move or do I not move? Do I say or do I not say? Do I go or do I not go? And you get in this position where you don't really know what you're supposed to do. And so sometimes, truthfully, that's where I've been. I have not been able to sometimes pull myself out of that. You have to go to some of the sisters that you have in your circle and, hey, I feel like God is saying this. Iron sharpens iron, touch the spirit by the spirit. You have somebody you walk with and say, hey, I feel like the Lord is saying this. What do you feel? How does that sound right? And then go back and pray about it again. What you have done, not being mindful of time management. Yeah, girl. Yeah, girl. Yeah. Time management gets me all the time. All the time. Some of the other ones that are listed for those who don't have their book, some of the challenges that they have listed for us, that, maybe are challenge for you to, not be able to surrender to God, fear, pride, laziness, stubbornness, peer pressure, uncertainty as to how to begin. And that's sometimes some people's area. I don't know how to surrender to God. What am I supposed to do? I thought I did that. Surrendering to God looks like this. And this is a process. It's really waking up and saying, Lord, what do you require of me today? So I'm not coming to the Lord with, I gotta go to work, I gotta pick the kids up, I gotta drop them off, I gotta feed this, I gotta finish up, cook for my husband, or cook for my wife, or my boss needs this. It's not about anybody else's agenda but the Lord. When you start your surrender walk, it's really saying, God, nothing I have to do, or nothing that's on my agenda or my to-do list is more important than what you have to do. So surrendering looks like that. Getting up in the morning before your feet hit the floor. Lord, what do you require of me today? Would you say, Raymond, that the things bring on the feeling on worthiness issue? Yep. Not seeing and knowing the full picture. Oh, yes, Curtis. Yes, Mama. Okay, so I totally get that. You know why? Because this is how God is. God does not, and most times will not give us the full spectrum. Okay, so He may ask you or tell you, okay, you're in, grocery store. I want you to go and say, God loves you to that particular person that's down the aisle. Now, in your mind, you're like, I don't know this lady. I don't really understand. Did you go to question God, right? Did He really say that? Did He really say I have to go tell this person up here that's what I'm supposed to do? And so, because God doesn't give us the full picture, but what we don't know is that maybe that lady or that person could be contemplating suicide or harming themselves or someone else, and what they needed to know was God loves them. But God doesn't always give us the full picture of what He's requiring of us. We have to trust Him each step of the way. Each step we have to trust God a little bit more. So God, I don't always understand and I don't get it, but I feel like You're telling me to do this. And then sometimes I get in that point too, where I'm like, Lord, I don't know if I fully understand completely of what You want me to do, but my heart is saying, just trust what I'm hearing, and if I'm doing it wrong, correct me. Because sometimes you just got to go and do what He says. And if, so I tell God, hey, maybe I might not be hearing correctly, but I feel like You're telling me to go say this. This is what I'm going to do, because He knows your heart is pure. And so you not having that full picture can be challenging because you don't know what the outcome is going to be. And so we know in Scripture He tells us, one plants, one seeds, but only God gives the increase. So we have to trust Him that when God is moving in our lives and giving us a vision that's bigger than ourselves, and although we can't see the end from the beginning, we have to trust Him enough that He's going to do exactly what He says. Oh yeah, Nancy, I hear you. Sometimes it's hard to wait for God's answer because God is not in a fast food. True. Amen. Amen. That's right. He sure isn't, because there's some things I'm waiting on. I'm like, Jesus, I'm just saying. Can I have it now? All right, so let's jump to page 15. Y'all with me? All right, let's jump to page 15. Like I said, I'm going to jump through um, so we can, but if there's something that you want me to hit on, like I told you, we have an inbox. So just send me an inbox message and let me know what you want me to touch on if you had a challenge. So page 15, we're going to read this. Now it says up here, it says, yet even without full clarity as to what he may ask you to do, or where he may instruct you to use it, even now or in the future, make the choice to advance to say, yes, Lord. We're on page 14 at the top. I wanted to read that first. Page 14 at the top. And it says, sure that this key of obedience will unlock every good and perfect gift your Father intends for you. So that's part of the paragraph on page 14. I'm going to read it one more time. And it says, yet even without full clarity as to what he may ask you to do, or where he may instruct you to use it, either now or in the future, make the choice in advance to say, yes, Lord. We have to always have a yes, Lord, in ourselves. You always have to have a yes, Lord, in your heart. Because either way, whether you fully understand it or not, you want your heart to be pure. And so when God is moving and speaking and talking, and as we continue to tune up our ears so we can get the frequency of the Holy Spirit moving through our brain, we have a yes, Lord, implanted in us so deeply that when we hear him speak, we move. There's an action. We hear, we move. We hear, we move. And we want to get to the point where there's not a delay of our moving. I want to look at page 15. Page 15, let's talk about some of the things that obedience looks like. And I'm going to compare and contrast it for you. So if you have your book or your papers, let's look on page 15. You with me? You're all on page 15? At the top, it says obedience can be an intimidating word. Depending on our upbringing and other influences from our early life, it may invoke different emotions. For some, it conjures up audience thoughts of harsh, seemingly pointless regimes of rules and regulations that are stifling and oppressive, instead of life-giving and fulfilling. And then for others, it says it seems to be oddly devoid of intimacy and relationships, more of never good enough intent of measuring up. Now, she gave us an assignment. What did you all put? Now, under that paragraph on page 15, she has, in the paragraph above, underline any perception about obedience that you have felt or experienced before. So, on page 15, our assignment was in that particular paragraph, and for those who don't have their books, I'm going to read it one more time. But I want you all to type in the comments and some of the things that you underlined, and I'll give you mine, that I have experienced before when it came to my perception about obedience. But the paragraph reads again. It says, obedience can be an intimidating word, depending on our upbringing and other influences from our early life. It may invoke different emotions. For some, it conjures up obvious thoughts of harsh, seemingly pointless regimes of rules and regulations that are stifling and oppressive, instead of life-giving and fulfilling. For others, it seems to be oddly devoid of intimacy and relationships, more of a never good enough attempt at measuring up. And even for more of us, the word itself feels like a threat to our innate desire of independence. It bristles against the fabric of our self-reliancy and autonomy. So, what did you all underline in that particular paragraph that you've experienced before? I want to see what some of you all put. What are some of the things, this is on page 15, first paragraph at the top. What are some of the things that you underlined that you experienced before? And while you all are typing and answering and putting that information in, I'm going to tell you some of the things that I've underlined. I underlined stifling and oppressive. I also underlined more of a never good enough attempt at measuring up. These are some of the things that I've experienced when you came to me with our what he moved in the last two sentences. Miranda, you see the last two sentences? Okay, and even more of us, word itself feels like a threat to our innate desire and independence. Is that where you are? And I underline threat to our innate desire for independence. That was one of the biggest things that the Lord had to break off me, was my independence. I was so self-reliant in thinking that I was taking care of me. Not the Lord, it was me. I'm working, I'm paying my bills, I'm. And so God had to really deal with me with that fierceness of being independent of Him, that He had to really strip me of everything, all my resources, my job, everything, until I learned to rely on Him. And I don't know if anybody else has that story where we can become so reliant on our resources of our jobs and our education, or maybe our spouse or things like that, that we take that obedience and from God or that dependence on the Lord, because we have given our dependence over to things that are outside of Him. And so God had to teach me, I take care of you. God has your job is not taking care of you. Your friends aren't taking care of you. Your family, they're not taking care of you. I am taking care of you. And with obedience, I was fighting against that, because I'm like, I want to be, independent. I want to stand on my own. And frankly, with, us as women of color, that's how we are. If we're going to get done, we're going to handle it, right? But the reality is we have to let God help us and handle it. We have to let God do what He wants to do. We have to let God lead our lives. I'm at the point now, I don't want to handle it. I want Jesus to take over. Because if that's how you get it, I'm going to mess it all up. Amen? So hopefully some of those things that you broke down and underlined, that we can start to talk about in your quiet time with the Lord. So that way you can understand that you don't have to hold everything. We have to let God do what He wants to do. Now I want to read page 16 at the top is Matthew 16:24. So on page 16, I'm going to read at the top Matthew 16:24. And it says, she has here, each bit of instruction He gives is born out of the tenderness of His heart toward us and His desire to steer us toward His best for our lives. Obedience is not a no. It is an actually His best yes. It swims in oceans of grace and leads us to freedom, wholeness, and health. It opens us up to the unbridled blessing and obedience. So I want to look at, and we're going to look at Matthew 16:24. Let's read that. Matthew 16:24. 16:24. And it says, that Jesus said to His disciples, if anyone wishes to come after me, he must deny himself and take up his cross and follow me. If we're going to come and do what God asks us to do, we have to be willing to lay down our lives and trust God enough to be able to say, Lord, whatever You ask me to do, I want to follow you. I want to do what you want me to do. I want to be who you called me to be. And he's telling us in Matthew 16:24. He said, and Jesus said to his disciples, if anyone wishes to come after me, he must deny himself and take up his cross and follow me. This is the biggest key to hearing God. This is the biggest key to discerning his voice and allowing the Holy Spirit to have an entrance into our spiritual life, is denying ourselves, picking up our cross, and following God. Those are the three keys, the major keys, into understanding how to hear from God more and more in our lives. And understand it's not just a one-time thing. We are completely in a process of surrendering each and every day. It's an everyday thing. It's not just a once in a lifetime thing. Now, once in a lifetime is our salvation. Once you have decided and given and you believe that Jesus died on the cross for your sins and that he got up on the third day and he took at the right hand of the Father and that he's the Son of God, that seals your salvation as far as where you're going to spend eternity. But the process begins of surrendering more of self, more of denying who you are, what your agenda is, and following him and taking up the cross of what your purpose is to follow God. The more that you continue to lay down your own agenda is when you start to increase your hearing ability of what God wants you to do. That is where we have to start when our discerning our voices, our obedience to continue to deny ourselves, to take up our cross, take up our purpose, what God is giving us in our hearts, or asking God, hey, I don't even know what my purpose is right now. So you might be at a space in life and you may not really know what your purpose is. That's what you need to be talking to God about as we go through this study. What is my purpose? And once he tells you what your purpose is, follow him and follow through with what he's asked you to do. Now, I want to talk about obedience because she talked about Abraham in her obedience, and she talked about during this week. If you know the story of Abraham and Isaac. It's a very familiar story, but pretty much, God had told Abraham that he was going to make him the father of the nation, and that he was, and that he would have to have children. Him and Sarah. Sarah had Isaac at 99. I rebuke that in the name of Jesus. How you not trying to have kids at 99? Jesus, what? I'm not doing it. I'm like, Lord, please. But this is what he promised him. He promised Abraham a child. But in this particular time, God was testing his obedience. He was testing his truthfulness. If you read week 1, she talked a lot about Abraham and his faithfulness unto God. And so at this point, God wants Abraham and said, I want you to get your son Isaac and go where I'm going to tell you. You have to sacrifice your son. Sacrificing means he had to kill his son. Because God was asking him at this time his born and only son. And so, but Abraham did what God wished. He got up and did exactly what God asked him to do. So we have to be able to talk to God and trust him enough that this is what he wants us to do. Now, I want to go, let's look at this before we jump too far off. We talk about our sacrifices between Abraham and this is my context, because Abraham was one of those, he had great faith. Okay, so we read Hebrews 11, he had great faith, right? But I like to read, and if you're like me, I need to have a comparative contrast when it comes to sacrifices. And so in obedience and how that looks. So let's do a little comparison. So if you have your Bible, let's go to Judges. Let's go to Judges. Judges in the Old Testament. And so if you don't know where it is, try and go to your table of contents. And we are going to be in Judges. And we're going to be in Judges Judges 6. Let's go to Judges 6. So, how many of you ever heard the story about Gideon? Yeah, I'm going to paraphrase this story because I want to stay good on time. But Gideon was a prophet, okay, and this is when Israel was sort of being tormented by the Midianites. And so God went to Gideon and told him to get an army together. So you're going to see this story in chapter 6. And so I want to read something. Let's look at verses 11 through 18. So you have Judges chapter 6, verses 11 through 18. This is when Gideon was visited by God. And it says, then the angel of the Lord came and sat under the oak that was an oak which belonged to Joash the Edomite, as the son of Gideon was beating out wheat in the winepress in order to save it from the Midianites, because they were Midianites were coming and taking all this stuff. And so the angel of the Lord appeared to him and said to him, the Lord is with you, O valiant warrior. Then Gideon said to him, O my Lord, if the Lord is with us, why then has all this happened to us? And where are the miracles which our fathers told us about, saying, did not the Lord bring us up from Egypt? But now the Lord has abandoned us and given us into the hand of Midian. The Lord looked at him and said, go in this your strength and deliver Israel from the hand of Midian. Have I not sent you? Verse 15. He said to him, O Lord, how shall I deliver Israel? Behold, my family is the least in the Mecca, and I'm the youngest in my father's house. But the Lord said to him, surely I will be with you, and you shall defeat Midian as one man. Verse 17. So Gideon said to him, if now I have found favor in your sight, then show me a sign that is you that speak with me. Please let me depart from you until I come back to you and bring out my offering and lay it before you. And he said, I will remain until you return. How many of us are like Gideon? How many of us are like, yo, you want me to do what? You want me to go fight the Midianites? But where's God when all this good stuff was happening? When my forefathers told us all these miracles and blessings, we don't have none of that. We're in bondage. So we're seeing two sides of things. We see Abraham and his obedience to just go out and do, but then we see another prophet of the Lord that said, oh, prophet, your brother Jesus, what is going on? So the reality is God knows who you are. Maybe you're Abraham or maybe you're Gideon. But either way, you trust God enough to say, all right, Lord, I may have a million questions, and if you go through and read chapter 7 with Gideon, Gideon really had some problems, because initially he had 10,000 warriors. Like, all right, you want me to fight? Good. I got all my boys, and there's about 10,000 of us, and we're going to go down there and handle it. But then God said, pump your brakes. No, that's not how this is going to go. No, you can't bring all those people with you. And so God started to dwindle down that 10,000 until he had 300 men. So God and Gideon said, whoa, wait a minute. You want me to go fight Midian and I only have 300 men and they got an army? So let's look at this right quick. Let's look at chapter 6. And I'm going to let you, I like this when I talk about scripture, I try to make sure I point out so you can go back and look at it. So looking at this, look at this contrast to obedience and surrender to God. So in verse 36, it says, then Gideon said to God, if you will deliver Israel through me, as you have spoken, behold, I will put a fleece of wool on the threshing floor. If there is dew on the fleece only, and it is dry on all the ground, then I will know that you will deliver Israel through me, as you have spoken. Okay, so he's telling the Lord, okay, Jesus, if this is you, and you telling me that I'm going to win this battle, I'm going to go get a shirt. I'm going to put the shirt on the floor. And if only the shirt is wet and the floor is dry, then I know you get it. Okay? And then 38 says, and it was so. And it says, when he arose early the next morning and squeezed the fleece, he drained the dew from the fleece, a bowl full of water. 39. Then Gideon said to God, do not let your anger burn against me, that I may speak once more. Please let me make a test once more with the fleece. So Gideon thought he was bugging out. Okay, so he's like, okay, just in case somebody came by my bed while I was sleeping and poured some glass of water on it, and that's why it's wet, and it may not be Jesus, let me ask him one more time to show me it's him. So he says to him, verse 39, continuing, it says, let it be now dry only on the fleece, and let there be dew on all the ground. So first he said, Lord, if it's you, can you make the fleece wet and the ground dry? So now you're saying, okay, let's swap it, let the fleece be dry, and let the ground be wet. Verse 40, God did so that night, for it was dry only on the fleece, and dew was all on the ground. So we see two levels of obedience and understanding how we can fall in the middle of that. But the common ground is they both trusted God enough to say, I may not understand completely why you're asking me to sacrifice my son, or you're asking me to go against this nation to fight as one man with 300 people. But at the end of the day, they trusted God enough to say, hey, if God can tell me what to do, I'm going to trust him. So have you walked through that particular journey in your life and said, hey, I don't know how to get all of this done? Let's look at page 18. 18, when she talked to us, y'all, about obedience, she also talked to us, Pastor Shirer, about how we have to have a plan. So if you're on page 18, come with me to page 18. We're going to briefly walk through this as far as how she told us to have a plan. Okay? If you don't plan, you plan to fail. Right? We've heard practice makes perfect. All those things, right? But even with our study and with understanding God and having that ability to hear Him, we have to plan our day so that we are making Him a priority in our life. Amen? Are you making Him a priority in your life? So at the top on page 18, it says we're going to read Genesis 22. So if you have Bibles, you can read along with us. Genesis 22, 2 through 3. And it's on the side of your book on page 18. And it says, God said, take your son, your only son Isaac, whom you love, and go to the land of Moriah, and offer him there as a burnt offering on one of the mountains of which I shall tell you. So Abraham rose early in the morning, saddled his donkey, and took 2 of his young men with him, and his son Isaac. And he cut the wood for the burnt offering and arose and went to the place of which God said. So if God gave you a plan or gave you a task, how are you going to fulfill it? So for those of you that have your book, we're on page 18. What is the answer to saddle? What did Abraham saddle? Look at your book. What did you say? We're looking at the verses on the side, Genesis 22, the second and the third verse. What did he saddle? Abraham saddled his donkey. He took 2 of his young men and his son. He cut the wood for the burnt offering and went to the place which God had told him. What's your plan to get through this day? What's your plan to continually grow your hearing and understanding of God? What are you trying to get out of this particular journey? What's your plan and what does it look like? Let's go to page 22. Anybody got any questions, any comments? Y'all still with me? What's going on? Y'all can type while I'm talking, so and I can see your comments. How's everybody? Everybody all right? Everybody's holding strong? I told you this week was kind of tough. It sort of, it's going to give you like one of Jesus movies. It's going to be kind of tough. So if everybody's holding tight, just hold on. We're on page 22, so you have your book. So jump on page 22. And I want to read you this quote by Jim Sabala. He's an awesome prayer warrior at his church. I think he does a hillside, I'm right. But you can Google him. But he has an awesome church and very much a person of prayer. And it says that if our spiritual ear will never be sensitive to his voice, if we have a personal agenda to which we are already committed. God leads and speaks to the humble who have surrendered their plans and want to do his will. With an open heaven and a surrendered will, we will be able to clearly hear God's voice in our heart. Is your heart open enough to hear the Lord? Is your heart open enough to hear exactly what he wants you to do? I want to read something on page 23. And then I'm going to ask you a question I want you all to answer. So if you have your book, let's look on page 23. And this is the paragraph in the middle. And it says, "For hearing from God and enjoying the freedom that comes from doing what he says often requires us to empty our hands, trusting he will fill them with something better. And if we haven't prearranged our allegiance, if we haven't pre-planned our strategy, if we haven't enlisted suitability, accountability, all in a determined commitment to obedience, on our wayward emotions will betray us into clinging to things out of rebellion and personal comfort, out of fear and insecurity. We'll miss living in the spacious place God desires for us. Looking and listening to that, we must be willing to pay the cost that leads to his death. What has God been telling you to walk away from? Who is God has been telling you to let go? Where have you opened up your heart and said, Lord, I don't understand why you're telling me to walk away from this job or to walk away from this relationship? But in obedience to him, we may not understand why we have to do the things he's asking us to, but we have to let go of what we're holding on to so tightly and open our hands. Because sometimes we are holding on to things that's forfeiting our destiny. We're avoiding our purpose because we're so desirous of holding on to what we have, whether it's a relationship, a job, anything that will put you in contingency between you and God should not be there. And so there's a time when you have to say, Lord, I'm opening my hands and I'm trusting you enough to give you everything that I am and everything that I'm not to do with me as you do. That's when you start to hear from God and understanding God starts talking to you. There are going to be areas in your life that he's going to ask you to correct. There are going to be areas in your life that he's going to ask you to let go of. Let's look at page 26. Y'all still with me? That's right. Amen, Pearly. Amen, Pearly. Without faith, we cannot please God. We cannot please God without faith. You're going to read there. At the top of page 26, look at the top of page 26. And it says, by obeying, we'll see some of these benefits in physical, visible, tangible belongings, while other blessings will be reserved for us as treasures and rewards in heaven. But no matter here or there, then or now, God's benefits and blessings will always be far more valuable than whatever it is we feel so resistant to release. Ask Abraham and many others, but simply ask this. I want you to write this down. We're gonna, or you can answer this question while we're here online. And we're gonna, we're almost done for this evening. Name some of the clear blessings you can trace back to a decision you made to obey, even when it seems costly at the time. Name a blessing that God is giving you, so that you can look back and say, ooh, God told me to walk away from that job, and I might have been unemployed for 4 months, but the job He gave me was way more than I ever imagined. What are some of the blessings that God is giving you out of your obedience? Name some of those things. Learn some obedience. Name some clear blessings you can trace back to a decision you made to obey, even when it seems costly at the time. Don't we know that being a follower of Christ, there's a cost to discipleship. There's a cost when we are taking up our cross and denying ourselves and following Christ. There's a cost to it. But the cost is so minimal compared to the blessings that we get. Some of the things that I wrote down was surrendering to ministry. You know, when God called me into ministry, I'm like, oh my God. I mean, that changed my life because it changed the people that I was around. Some of my friends got it, some of my friends didn't. I had a period where I had to walk by myself. I wrote down when God called me to seminary. I didn't want to go to seminary. That was nowhere near in my plan. I wanted to be, a GM of an MBA team. So I went and got my MBA in marketing and business. But God wanted me to be a preacher. But it cost me a lot because I didn't obey in the beginning. I did what Kyrie wanted to do. So what do you have on your agenda that you wanted to do? Have you doubled back and asked God and said, Lord, is this what you want me to do? Am I hearing from you clearly on this, what you really have me? What do you want out of my life? Page 26, we're almost there. As you launch into this day, what modifications do you already suspect you will need to make in the following areas in order to be obedient to God from your experience? So if you have page 27, what did you all pick? For those of you that have your book, out of the list here, what are some of the areas? You don't have to list anything you put next to it, but just put in the comments, what are some of the areas that are listed? What did you put down that you already know that you're going to have to make some modifications to as you walk through this day? What are you looking for? Anybody got anything? This is on page 27. So as you see now, you're going to have your book with you when you're doing your studies. You really need to get your book, otherwise you won't be able to get all the information or be able to participate fully, because a lot of the things that I'm going to be talking about will be some of the questions and things from the book. And some of the areas that are listed here have ambitions, your beliefs, expectations, relationships, traditions. What are some of the areas that you know that you're going to have to adjust as you walk through this study? Now we're going to jump into page 4. It's 5 o'clock. I want to make sure I get through this week with you. We may have to go maybe a little bit longer, but let's look at page 28. I'll read something to you. Now, we look at page 28 in your book, and it's like the third paragraph, and it says, here's the repeated theme. Their walk with God aren't centered primarily on knowledge. They hinge on a relationship experience. These people are dedicated to studying the Bible, Yes, but they're also dedicated to aligning their lifestyle with it. The knowledge that they acquire from delving deeply into Scripture only whets their appetite for knowing its author more intimately and for seeing him at work amid the regular rhythms of their everyday life. Here she asks us a question on day 4 and on the answer is, have you ever met some people that they were just on fire for God? It's just their faith was absolutely astounding. And this is what she's saying. Their faith and their strength and their power came because of their relationship with God. There's a difference from having a relationship with God and having a knowledge of God. You want to get to that relationship with God. I can know about God all day, but if I haven't experienced Him as a waymaker, if I haven't experienced Him as a healer, if I haven't experienced Him as giving me joy and peace, I don't have a relationship with Him. You want to get to a point where you say, I know God, but I got a relationship with my Father in a way that you can call Him Daddy and know that you are talking about somebody that has your back day in and day out. That grows your sensitivity to His voice and His leading when you have a relationship with our Lord to call Him Amen. Some of us didn't have biological fathers or flesh fathers on this side of glory, but we have a Father that's living and true in heaven that has our back like no other. And when we try to get into this relationship in this study, trusting that I want to know the Lord, I want to know Him, but I already know He knows me. So we're going to jump to page, let's jump to page 31. Two things I wanted to highlight that she had it actually highlighted in my book. And it says on page 31, delayed obedience is disobedience. How powerful is that? I had to highlight and put my stars next to it because I'm like, Jesus. Delayed obedience is disobedience. Let's have a reality check. This study has 5 days of work to do. Have you been obedient in doing your homework? Have you let other outside things in your life come in between your study time? Have you allowed God to be the priority when you're saying, I need to adjust my day so that I can do what God has asked me to do? And disobedience always yields consequences. I've been in a place where I know that I didn't do what God asked me to do, and I ended up with the consequences. We've all been there. And it's not that we won't ever be there again, but the goal is to not be there at all. Trusting God enough to say, I'm going to be obedient even when I don't understand. Even when I don't get what you're saying, I don't understand. So we're going to end here. I want you to go back to page 21. And I'm going to read from the bottom of page 21. This is your homework, all right, as we prepare for next week. It says, if you haven't already on the inside, on the front, or back cover of this book, make a list of personal circumstances troubling you. As you walk through this Bible study on page 21, focus on these circumstances and how God is speaking to you concerning them. God will undoubtedly be giving you new directives and insight as we journey together through these pages. The question is, what can you do today to strategize a lifestyle of obedience so when you speak, you're there with plans to obey? So your homework and as you're walking through this study, think about some of the things that are troubling you, then start strategizing the lifestyle you want of obedience. And then start making a plan So start small. My obedience right now, Lord, is doing this step, being committed to this step. How am I going to make sure I'm prioritizing you in my day, that I am going to take care and do this study so I can get out of what I'm putting in? The reality is you only get out of the study what you put in the study, the time that you put in. If you don't put anything in, you get nothing in. Garbage in, garbage out. So I really want you to our first week to really sit and talk with God and get a plan. When am I going to study? How long am I going to study? Where do I get my book from? You still can get your book. You can still join us for only on week 1. We'll do week 2 next week. That's February 24th. We're going to be at 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. So you want to be able to be on time and ready to talk and ready to type and get your Jesus on. I want to tell you all that you are definitely welcome to join our prayer call. I have a prayer call every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday at 6 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. It's called the Throne Room Prayer Call. And you can call in by dialing 641-715-0632. And the code is 946-973. And that's every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday, Eastern Standard Time. And if you're in the Atlanta area, I have a ministry brunch coming up. I would love to see you. It's April 22nd here in Atlanta. Check out our events page, and there's more information on the ministry brunch. If you're dealing with emotional trauma, church hurt, and feelings of pain and just betrayal, God has sent me to help set you free. And so we're going to walk through some exercises on this ministry. Going to $25. We're having that at a place called Grace 1720. It's a restaurant here in Atlanta, and I'd love to see you. So please check out our event page for anything else that's happening. I thank you so much for joining into the first week of Discerning the Voice of God. Week 1, we're studying the book. Priscilla Shirer will be back next Sunday, which is February 24th, 2019. At 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, right here in the beautiful Ashes Growth Group. I love y'all. Have an awesome evening. Study. If you have questions or things you want to talk about, please feel free to inbox me again. I'm Kylie Williams. I'm the vessel for this ministry called Beautiful Ashes Ministry. And I'm grateful that you sit here and spend your time with you and the Lord as we walk this journey together. We're going to hear from God during these 7 weeks. God is going to blow our minds. We just have to work on our obedience and our priorities of making Him the main thing in our lives. Each of us, those of us that listed procrastination as our challenge, it's okay. We have to be our procrastinators. Thanks, Miranda. I'm glad you got on the call. We have to work on that. So look, we're going to team together, get some buddy partners that, I'm doing this study. Call me, wake me up at 5. I can do this study. Get some accountability partners. That helps with procrastination, especially when it comes to studying the Word of God. I love you all. Be safe. And if you're able, get on our call tomorrow morning. Our prayer call will be tomorrow morning. And like I said, go to our events page for the Beautiful Ashes Ministries Growth Group. You'll see all the information about the prayer call, our next time, our Facebook Live, and our my ministry brunch on April 27th. Have an awesome weekend. Talk to y'all soon. I love you. Bye-bye.